Hello and welcome to another episode. I'm just gonna barely touch on the news. I think everyone watching this video is probably sick of seeing it all over the place, so I'm just gonna hit on it quickly. So far we have the Ryzen 7 1700, 1700X, and 1800X, which are priced at $330, $400, and $500 respectively, rounded up $1, big deal. A couple of the things that I haven't seen mentioned a lot is that AMD has in fact hit that 52% IPC increase over their previous generation, the 83, 50, 90, whatever. If you don't know what IPC is, I'll link a video right there. Another point is that the XFR seems to only be a 0.1 gigahertz boost. I'll get into more about that later and what I think that actually means. But I want to talk a little bit about the pre-orders, whether you should pre-order, and if you do, which you should go for. First of all, I don't encourage pre-ordering, not that it matters now, most of the pre-orders are sold out. So if you went for it, then great. Probably if you were already with AMD, something with like an 8350, there's no disadvantage to getting one of these. It's just going to be better. The only reason I suspect it might not be a great idea to pre-order is because just in case something's weird with them, it's always good to wait till after the reviews come in, then you know for sure whether it's good. They look pretty good so far, and honestly I don't expect any big surprises at this point, but there could be something, you never know. So for which one you should get? First of all, if you just do gaming, probably none of the Ryzen 7 CPUs are really what you need to get. There's going to be 6-core 12-thread, 4-core 8 threads coming out that are going to be more aimed towards that just gamer. These Ryzen 7 CPUs are for the enthusiasts, people that want to maybe do streaming, maybe workstation applications, video rendering, 3D rendering, other stuff like that, not just gaming. Now, if you are doing gaming and you want to get one of these, probably the Ryzen 7 1700 isn't the one you want to get. It has pretty weak single-core performance compared to the others. You probably want to go for the 1700X if you're going to be gaming as well as other things. It gives you just a fair bit more single performance. I mean, individual core performance is going to be quite a bit higher even for those multi-threaded games. I would recommend the 1700 just for someone who only plans on doing sort of those professional applications like video rendering or 3D rendering, other things like that, decoding, but also are on a bit of a budget. The 1700X is really a better deal than the 1800X because it's $100 cheaper and it supports all of the same features at only 200 megahertz slower. So it's really very similar, but $100 cheaper. That's a pretty big deal. The 1800X is probably going to be for those hardcore enthusiasts that could really use that CPU performance and also have a lot more money to spend on it. And another thing that I want to go into is the XFR. Today we learned that the XFR range is, as far as we can tell, only an extra 100 megahertz over. So the 1800X XFR boosts it to a mere 4.1 gigahertz. Now that doesn't sound that impressive until you actually consider what turbo is. Base and turbo frequencies on a CPU are not for all cores. The base frequency is what you can expect all cores to be running at one time, whereas the turbo is to give you a good single core performance when the demand is there. In most cases, you can't expect a CPU to overclock all cores to the turbo frequency. Now this can happen sometimes, especially with some, I know Intel motherboards, some chipsets actually do support bringing up all cores to the max turbo frequency, and that's something that even my older processor, my older motherboard has. It's a BIOS option. Whereas that's not actually standard. The point with XFR, as far as I'm aware, is to bring all cores up. So with the 1800X, you can expect not, instead of 7 cores running at 3.6 gigahertz and one running at 4 gigahertz, you'll be able to see all cores running at 4.1 gigahertz, which for multi-core performance is going to be a drastic increase. And like always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you thought this was good, and see you at the next one.